One of the things that dissuade us from meditation is resistance. In this video, I want to talk about why resistance arises, how can we spot it, and of course, how to deal with that resistance that continues to dissuade us from continuing the practice of meditation. The first thing I will say is that resistance is not only natural, but expected and normal to happen in meditation. When I started meditating, the most convincing thought, most absurd thought at this point, was convincing to me and said, "Stop, you look ridiculous. You have no idea what meditation is. Don't even try it." And that was powerful enough to prevent me from meditating for months, even though I knew that what I needed was meditation, not to continue to learn things and do other things. But I really had no idea and nobody who could teach me how to meditate. So slowly that resistance gave up as I started a more disciplined practice. That thought now seems so superficial, but at the time was the most powerful thing that dissuaded me completely from even trying to sit for 5 minutes. So resistance always creates the same outcome, which is stop doing it. Let's not go there. It's very simple. If we think that resistance will disappear, we're wrong. Resistance will never disappear because it's just the way the mind fights against silence in its agitated state. The only thing that dissolves, which is what I really want to talk about in this video, is the resistance to the resistance. This second resistance is the one that dissuades us from continuing meditating. It's very clever. Has two ways that it'll do it. So not only do we know why it happens, because it's natural in the mind to be agitated and not want it to be explored, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but also how it happens is very curious. Two ways, always. First one, very direct. It'll say, let's stop this. We're not good at this. Like in my case, when I started meditating, very powerful, saying, you're not good at meditating. So you don't even know what meditating is. So just stop. Or I've been doing this for months and I still can't get rid of this. My emotions keep coming. I must be failing. Right? So might as well stop. Very convincing. And with some truth, right? Why continue to do something that is not working? The whole point is that you're not meditating to get rid of things, right? So it always invites us to go deeper into what meditation really is, or more appropriately, what meditation never is. Something that we do to achieve an outcome. So again, very direct, this one way in which we will find resistance, which is, let's stop doing this, in essence, because it's not working. And I'm not good at it or whatever. There's always the I thought arising there. It's not working for me, it's not doing what I want, etc. So just know that this is one of the iterations. It'll say, stop, no more, we're not good at this. The other way is a little bit more clever because it won't tell you stop. It'll say, why do we need this anymore? I know myself. Look at me. I understand who I am. And I meditate all day. I walk around, my activities. I like nature. In essence, what it's saying is the separate self, the I thought is saying, let's continue to distract our minds this way so we don't look what's inside. So again, very clever way of saying, we don't need this anymore. Why meditate? I got what I wanted, right? It achieved an outcome. So it'll convince you on that and say, I don't need meditating. In fact, I know meditation so much that I do it naturally, right? When I wash the dishes, as people say in Zen, or when I walk in nature, as whoever said, right? It'll try to find something that says, let's not look at that silence, because in both cases, the direct saying no more, and the other one saying, why should I bother? They're both scared of what else is to be shown from the separate self. In other words, the ego is trying to survive in both ways. So again, don't feel like you're failing. Who is it that is failing? No, it's natural and normal for the ego to thrash and fight against that which is revealing it, because it's painful to see these things. So we have a resistance to pain, which is normal. First, realize that that resistance is normal. It's actually a healthy mechanism in the mind and in the body to prevent pain. But once we know that we're able to sustain that pain, the body and the mind adapt. Because it's a healthy pain, we are able to endure it. There's a reason why you don't go to the gym and start lifting hundreds of pounds. You begin slowly. Pain, always the same. Capacity, always greater. Right? Same with running, even if not lifting weights. You start running, you can only run for a couple of minutes at a time. Over time, greater capacity. There is resistance. But if we don't fight that resistance, actually bad wording there, if we don't know how to deal with that resistance, we try to do too much or too little, we never break that threshold. And so every time there is resistance, there is a threshold to be crossed, which is the resistance of the separate self. Now, I want to be very clear about this. There is natural resistances of the mind and body to meditation. That is not a problem. We have to get used to them. We have to befriend them as saying, it's fine. I have openness for you. Look at it with compassion, with understanding, saying, I know it's painful. It's painful to see these things about me, but I have to, right? It's the second resistance that is the problem, right? Because it is now the separate self resisting the resistance. Because through that resistance, it'll show its own pain and it'll dissolve. And what will actually dissolve is the separate self. So the more you see this as natural and normal to have these resistances, then your practice is just obviously also effortless and spontaneous. You're there only to see that which is coming. Now, huge advice here. Don't seek for resistances and don't try to hold on to it. Two things that the mind, again, will try to do. Oh, Gabriel said that once the resistance is there and I notice it, I need to seek it. I never said that. Your sitting, when we talk about meditation, is about realizing what is in the moment. Don't seek for anything. That's the mind trying to achieve an outcome. I'm going to get rid of this resistance, right? Separate self trying to achieve an outcome. So don't seek for it. But if it arises, and you notice that it arises because it prevents you from meditation, it says, no more. Maybe we'll skip a couple of days. You will see it. You have to be honest with your practice and yourself. Once you see that, you say, okay, there's simply a resistance that the separate self is too painful to admit. Sit with it, because you are not the separate self. You are that which is compassionately and openly understanding that which is. Sit and notice that the resistance is natural. That's how you begin to acknowledge and process these resistances, which again, I say, they're all natural, they're normal, and they're expected to happen because many things, because of this healthy mechanism of the mind, has been buried, so we don't have to deal with it. Imagine dealing with everything at once. You cannot. Your brain cannot sustain that. So it has been burying them. Gradually, that's why we go deeper and deeper in meditation to allow all of these resistances to burn, to dissolve in the fire of awareness, to let them be as they want to be and realize that we're okay, that nothing really is happening to us. It's just memory. It's just conditioned patterns. That once they're freed, they're allowed to move, and just like clouds in the sky, they disperse. Even if they have to rain with some tears, that's okay. It'll still dissolve. So again, I just want to recap that first. Very normal. that resistances, actually expected that all resistances will arise. What is not normal for a true meditator is to either say, that's the reason why I can't do meditation anymore, or I don't need this anymore because I am so above meditating already. I have become enlightened, or whatever it is. There's an arrogant, or there is a too beaten up ego, right? Two opposites always. You will know that there is a resistance there to meditation. So what do? We sit. Not to seek whatever it was that was preventing us, right? And not also to resist the resistance once it comes up. We're just simply there. Your determination, your disciplined meditation practice is what actually burns everything. It's not the absence of resistance, which is what we get used to. Oh, I've been meditating beautifully all these months, and now my cousin just texted me and reminded me of this, which is such a problem. I cannot meditate anymore. Resistance arises, a separate self says no more, and we get stuck. We don't let that burn. Sit every day, regardless of what is. You're not there to have an absence of resistance. You're not there to have resistances and seek for them. Just when they arise, they come and go, you remain. The one thing is always, if you stop meditating, there is a resistance, and you will continue to find it, and it'll continue to be uncomfortable until it's time to be, can't deal with this anymore. I need to find something. And instead of finding something new, something different, something novel, you have to return always to the silence that burns everything. So this is all I got for this video. If you want to continue and learn more about self-inquiry and how to establish this practice if you don't have one, or reinforce it, that's what my community is about. In the description, there's always a link where you can join. It's free, and you can use the course there to establish your practice and reinforce it with my presence and others who are here just to be with you, to accompany you in this journey. And that is through the process of effortless meditation, which is a byproduct of self-knowledge. That's all we care to teach. It's all we care to share. And it's right there, available for you. All you need to do is a couple of clicks. I hope you have a beautiful, harmonious day. I'll see you in the next video.